This episode is brought to you by the new Disney Plus original series, American Born Chinese. Based on the graphic novel by Jean Luen Yang, American Born Chinese tells the story of an average teenager that becomes entangled in a battle with Chinese mythological gods. This star-studded cast includes Academy Award winners Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan, plus Daniel Wu, Jim Liu, and Ben Wang. American Born Chinese, premiering May 24, exclusively on Disney Plus.
Today on CityCast Pittsburgh. First, we need your help. CityCast is doing a survey. We want to hear from our listeners to help us make the show a better, more useful podcast for you. You'd be doing us a big favor. It's at citycast.fm/survey. It's only 5 minutes long, and folks who finish it will be eligible to win a $250 Visa gift card. Again, that's citycast.fm/survey. Now, we are bringing back one of our favorite conversations ever between CityCast's Morgan Moody and ASMR artist Liliana D, aka Lily Whispers. Lily is based here in Pittsburgh, and for good and for bad, she has a huge, devoted following on YouTube. It's Tuesday, May 23rd. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about.
Lily Whispers is probably best known for videos where she plays your big sister or your best friend. She gives advice, shares the tea, and she talks like she knows you, sometimes with tough love, all while doing your makeup or your skincare.
All right, so I'm going to start with this nice dome brush with like the base color. Okay, close your eyes. Oh, you have such a great eye shape for makeup. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that before, but you do. The other eye. How have you been with keeping those boundaries up? I know that the last time we talked, you were making excuses for people that didn't really deserve them. No offense. I know that's kind of blunt. You know I love you and I support you in all your endeavors and friendships and relationships, but you know what you deserve, and I don't want you to settle for less.
Lily, how would you describe ASMR to somebody who doesn't know what it is? I feel like I don't know how you don't know what it is at this point, but to somebody who doesn't know.
Yeah, if you didn't see the Zoe Kravitz commercial during the Super Bowl, you should, one, watch it, and two, ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. It is an acronym to describe sounds that create a kind of physical response that we call tingles in the ASMR community. So it kind of feels like a warm shiver. It makes you relax. It makes you, I don't know, it's kind of like a brain tingle. It's really a cool sensation. But not everyone gets tingles, I will say. So some people just watch ASMR for comfort, self-care, and forms of meditation as well.
How did you get into this kind of work? Do you have to have like a certain kind of voice, or how did you get into this?
I was recommended a video on YouTube when I was a freshman in college. It was an ASMR roleplay for a Lana Del Rey makeup look. And I was so confused because I'd never seen the acronym before. And so I clicked on the video, and this woman was speaking to me, the viewer, the person watching the video, and was applying makeup. And I didn't really get it. And I watched it with headphones, and I felt the tingles. And I had like the best nap of my life afterwards. And the ASMR artist at the time, her name was Appreciate ASMR. And I just fell down a rabbit hole of learning about ASMR and just kind of absorbing, and chose a couple months later that I was going to try my making my own channel.
Yeah.
And so that's where I started.
You also work in cybersecurity. So how do those two very different things, though, kind of marry together?
So last year, I was noticing a little bit of strange behavior in the comment section of ASMR videos. And I like to keep my, personal life as personal as I can, given that I have an online internet presence. And so sometimes I've talked about, my work and things like that, but I've never really integrated the two until I found out about what fetish mining is, which is where people solicit content by certain creators. You could be a Poshmark boutique owner. You could be just anybody on the internet. They try to get images from you to fulfill their fetish. And I fell down another rabbit hole of fetish mining. And so I was realizing that a lot of people in the ASMR community and a lot of my viewers don't really have a strong cybersecurity posture. And so I really didn't talk about my cybersecurity, background or anything like that until this fetish mining was just running rampant in the community. And so I filmed a video kind of exposing it, and then also doing a, information security or cybersecurity safety tips, internet safety tips for that are easily digestible for my viewers of any age.
What were some of the things that you were seeing for the fetish mining? Like, what were some of the comments?
There's like a bunch of triggers, right? Like some people like mouth sounds, some people like tapping, etc. And I found a lot of duct tape videos. And in the comment section, I would see individuals saying, I love this, but can you do duct tape with blue nail polish or black nail polish and things like that? And it would get very obscure and specific. And so it just kind of like, just made like a little red flag. I was like, that's weird. And I've been approached for people who have fetishes, and I'm not here to kink shame, whatever you're into. But I don't think that it's fair that these people are approaching and these content creators are unknowingly fulfilling these fetishes for these people that are mining for them for their own personal, fetish fulfillment. And so that's where it comes down to consent. But what originally kind of made it apparent was somebody kept requesting all these ASMR artists to read one book. And it was, like a nursery rhyme book. And so that's what led to figuring out that these were fetish mining requests and that there were a bunch. It wasn't just reading this book. It wasn't just putting duct tape. It wasn't just et cetera, et cetera. It was a huge line of requests like that.
And what was the response, though, when you put kind of like that video out with the tips?
So I created a Discord for ASMR artists to report red flags that they're seeing in the community. I stand by, the 3 words of education, awareness, and making sure that you're communicating these types of signs that you're seeing to keep the community more informed. A lot of people were disgusted. A couple of ASMR artists deleted their channels because they felt so violated. Those were more of the more, extreme responses, I would say. But many people were thankful and they had no idea about it. Many people were willingly doing this, and that's totally fine if you want to do it. But the majority of people were unaware, and many people made videos in response to mine in support of it, which was really cool to kind of see the community come together to combat it.
Set 5 years after Jedi Fallen Order, follow Cal Kestis in his increasingly desperate fight in the new video game Star Wars Jedi Survivor. No longer a Padawan, Cal has grown into a powerful Jedi Knight. As the memories and expectations of the Jedi Order weigh on him, his crusade against the Empire has only become more perilous. But how far is he willing to go to save those closest to him? Star Wars Jedi Survivor is available on April 28th and is rated T for teen.
The world looks different behind the handlebars of a rad electric bike. Grabbing takeout looks less like greasy styrofoam boxes and more like a crosstown adventure. Ride shares look less like piling into the back of a car and more like grabbing fresh air with your friends. And commuting can even start to look like the best part of your day. That's because with Rad, the world is what you make of it, not what it makes of you. See for yourself with a 14-day free trial. Find your fun at radpowerbikes.com.
Any kind of like content creation can be a minefield. YouTube creators especially can go through that, especially ASMR. What's it been like setting boundaries around the way people interact with you online?
Oh my goodness, don't even get me started. No one respects boundaries anymore. I mean, I have people online that I have subscribers that have been totally respectful, that I've gone to as far as like meeting and hanging out with them and going to dinner with them in France or grabbing drinks with them in Pittsburgh. But there are many individuals who don't respect those boundaries, who continuously pester and ask for content that I'm not willing to make, or think that they know me, and they make speculations about my life and my relationship and how I grew up and things like that. And it's a turnoff, quite honestly. Like, it doesn't want to make me put myself out there because I see my content as like giving back to a community. I think what I'm doing, I have the privilege to be able to do.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't. But if people are going to be disrespectful, then, it's a two-way street. I'm making this content because I like it.
Yeah.
It's not my livelihood.
Have the people who don't respect those boundaries affected how you interact with others or how you're interacting with your subscribers?
Yeah, I've like stopped sharing candid bits. I really took pride in being very open and honest with my viewers and talking about my life and my experience. And people would like DM people in my personal life. People would try to get my phone number, just like really inappropriate things.
Yeah.
Creating these, what they call now parasocial relationships, the same way that we think we know celebrities sometimes. We fill in the blanks about these people, but we don't know the first thing about what Kim Kardashian is like in real life. We've never sat with her. We've never had coffee. And I'm not trying to compare myself to Kim Kardashian, but it's the same way. You see this personality or this alter ego that I'm putting online that I feel comfortable with, but it's not who I am as a person.
The relationship you have with your subscribers is a very intimate one. I mean, people are relaxing or falling asleep to your voice almost every night, and you don't know them.
Yeah, and it can definitely come with some scary situations as well. There was this person who thought my videos were made for him, and he kept sending me his address and his phone number, and he was like, let's do this, because in my videos I'm like, I care about you, you're supported, you're loved, whatever. And he's like, let's do this, and he's like a couple states away. I'm like, this man could actually like come and wear my skin, and I laugh about it now, but at the time it was horrible. I had thousands of messages across all social media. He was contacting me on everything, and I had to go to the police. Then they didn't take me seriously the 2 times I went there.
And then finally, when I brought
messages, thousands, hundreds, yes, over the course of years. Yeah, he would just ramble on and on, and just like, it was crazy. I would wake up in the morning to like 30 emails from him. He would just fill out my contact form on like my professional website. So I had to like get rid of that. Like, there's no more contact form because people are just like abusing it. And the police didn't take me seriously until I brought my father. Isn't that a damn shame?
Does that make you want to stop doing this at all? Or
yes, it, in all honesty, and the only way that I could make it describe it without sounding too morbid, is it makes me want to not exist in the place that I exist. I don't know if that sounds kind of scary. I don't mean it in that way. Like, I'm, of sound mind everything, but it's more like I wish I didn't have this online persona sometimes, because you can't always turn it off as easily as I always thought that I could. And the majority of people are very nice. I don't mean to make it sound, all bad, but I do think that influencers tend to sugarcoat the experience because they want to be this role model, and they want, it's a highlight reel, but there are some very dark sides of being a content creator on these platforms that no one's really talking about.
And you've been doing this for a long time now, 10 years. So I'm sure you've experienced a lot of these highs and lows of being a content creator on YouTube. What would you like to see platforms like this? How can they make the space safer for creators like you and your friends?
So if you look at it from a capitalistic view, right, YouTube is never going to risk users leaving the platform and going elsewhere. But unfortunately, I want a world where the internet and every type of internet activity is tied to your first and last name and hell, maybe your social security number. I am all for free speech, but if you don't have the balls to say something to my face, but you're going to say it behind user 123, I don't think that I should be the victim of that.
Yeah.
And I wish that YouTube and platforms would protect the people that are making money for them instead of valuing the privacy of the users that are harassing the content creators. And that's honestly what it comes down to. People can say anything. They can make a million emails. They can do a million things. They know that no one's going to get an attorney and fight it. But shit, I've done it, and more content creators are starting to do it as well.
Lily, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is great.
A little news before you go. A stretch of shoreline in Erie is up for federal distinction. There are 3 spots in the Great Lakes being considered, all because of their shipwrecks. The Associated Press reports there are 35 known shipwrecks in the Erie area from before the Civil War up to nearly World War II, and becoming a marine sanctuary would help find and preserve them. And Kraft Heinz is changing the name of its hot dog-shaped car. Apparently, they're trying to hurt everything Pittsburghers hold dear. No more Wienermobile, no more weenie whistles. If you're new around here, Heinz was founded in Pittsburgh in 1869, and they debuted the Wienermobile in 1936. The company merged with Kraft just a few years ago, and now they want us to call it the Frankmobile. First, the football stadium, and now this. But good news, if your name actually is Frank, you can stop the Oscar Mayer mobile for a coupon for free beef hot dogs. That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you're liking the show, please tell a friend, rate us, leave us a review, and make sure you're subscribed to that Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Talk to you soon.
So, Pittsburghers are known to have certain types of colloquialisms and slang, also known as Pittsburghese. And so I have some phrases here I'm going to whisper in my very best Pittsburghese. So, Ian's gone downtown to see them Stillers. AKA, are you guys going downtown to see the Steelers? Next, my car needs washed, which is funny because Pittsburghers tend to add unnecessary R's, like when we say wash. Kennywood's open. Kennywood's open refers to an amusement park in Pittsburgh, but it also means your fly is down. Funny story, I actually saw a guy friend of mine and I was like, hey, Kennywood's open. And he was like, oh, bet, I've been waiting to go. And I was like, no, dude, like your fly is so far down. Chipped ham sandwich. Chipped ham is another Pittsburgh staple food. Pretty self-explanatory, I would say. G-Jet jack off. Also mean like, did you eat yet? G-Jet. G-Jet. Did you eat yet? We all got neppy neighbors. So neppy is Pittsburghese for nosy.
Oh my gosh, my dog knows I'm eating the sandwich in here.